Scott writes, dating advice from a 32-year-old man to whoever. So let's see if I have also found these to be true. I'm just a random Redditor, so take this for what you will. So he has a list of 7 different things here. He says, number 1, finding someone who you like and who likes you is a crapshoot. I don't think that at all. Completely random. You might get it on the first try or the thousandth. Don't lose hope. I don't think. I think you should define your criteria beforehand, and then with each date you go to, you basically refine your criteria more and more. And then what you'll just naturally find is that your reticular activating system kind of comes into play, and you start to notice those people that could possibly fit that criteria. And then you pre-qualify them, and then you only go on dates with women who have a high level of interest in you. Number 2, you know how you're not attracted to some people? Question mark. The same is true for the person you are interested in. Don't hold it against them if they're not interested. It's not something you or they can control. 0 for 2. Yeah, okay. So sometimes I get like sometimes that initial attraction thing is there, and sometimes it's just like, well, a lot of attraction has to do with the polarities, masculine and feminine. But on the other hand, it's like there are a set of actions that you take in order to build attraction. And I would agree that yes, it's important to go on dates with women who have a high initial level of attraction to you from the very start. Just eliminates a lot of drama. But then again, it's like you have to be able to maintain that. So that initial attraction isn't going to be nearly enough. And if you're making mistakes and don't understand how to act in ways that build attraction, then her interest level is just going to drop and drop and drop until it basically breaks the threshold until she just dumps you. And so to some extent, in regards to like the polarities, the initial polarities, yes, attraction is kind of not a choice, and something you can't control in that moment, that very initial moment. But afterwards, it really is actionable steps based on the psychology of attraction. Number 3, ghosting can really hurt if you have feelings for that person, but the reality is there's a lot of psychos out there who will flip out at being rejected, so don't hold it against someone if they do ghost you. Yeah, I guess. So it's like kind of just don't be attached to results. Number 4, 2 text rule. If you text somebody if they want to get together and you get no response, just wait a few days, then text again. No, I would say again, I would say 0 for 3 and then a kind of like a maybe 1 on this one. um, because I mean, think about it. What's happening right now? She backs off, and then what are you doing? You're pursuing, you're chasing. And I get he has like this stop, this kind of like fail stop or whatever you want to call it. That it only happens twice. But if you're not getting any kind of response, it's almost like, well, even if you do convince them to go on a date with you the second time, it's like her interest is probably going to be super low towards you, and she's going to be like, "Oh, great, yeah, I'll go along with it," kind of attitude, and it's just going to make it tough. So it's like you want to just pick women to date, and even ask women on dates only if they have a high level of interest. They're super excited to be with you. Um, let's say a situation where this could relate is when maybe you ask a woman out and then she denies you. And then maybe she reaches out to you at a later date. But again, it's not like you're double texting her. It's like she backs off and then you totally give her that space. And then she comes back to you with just some random text. And then you ask her out one more time, but that's it. You only ask her out one more time. If she rejects you again, it's like, I'm not interested in being friends. Let me know if you change your mind. But again, I can't agree to being in this kind of like friend zone vibe thing that you're wanting to be in. So again, reach out if you change your mind. That would be the kind of double asking someone out thing that I would do. But again, you have to first distance yourself, back off, and she has to come to you. Number 5, be honest about what you're looking for out of dating and don't get mad at someone because they're looking for something else. Yeah, agree with that one. Just be careful on saying like, "Oh, I like you and I want to marry you already," kind of deal, and don't kind of go too fast. Just understand that women fall into love and attraction at a much slower pace than guys do. Guys are typically visual and fall in love or attraction very quickly, so they can see a beautiful woman and automatically they're thinking about their whole life. Or like, "Oh, now I want kids with you. I now I want to marry you. Now I want this and this and this." And if you kind of take this approach and act out of those feelings, you're just moving way too quickly. And so let her be the one who brings up like plans about your future, her feelings towards you, being exclusive, wanting kids, marriage. That way, you're just going at an appropriate pace, and you don't kind of freak her out and move way too quickly. Number 6, ask for consent. Man, this guy, I think his advice on here is not good. um, I mean, you should just assume that she wants to see you, and then it's like, yeah, obviously, if it doesn't happen, then you back off. But it's just about really acting in that moment, because it's like if you're like, do you think maybe possibly I could, if you're okay with it, do you think that I could maybe kiss you? And you're in like this uncertainty thing. It's just like that's not going to be attractive at all. And so it's like she will. It's like not about ask. I don't. It's not about asking for like consent like that. It's like she will tell you when it's okay to make a move based on the signals that she's giving you. And it's really your job to understand and be able to read her attraction level and know when she's really inviting you to make a move. And it's like when she invites you to make a move, that's when you make it. So it's like, is she initiating physical contact first? Maybe that gives you the signal to hold her hand. Where she like the moment's right and she's looking into your lips, then up to your eyes and your lips again and your eyes, that's a signal that she's ready to be kissed. And so just kind of let her kind of initiate those first things. And it's going to be super subtle. She's maybe brushes into your, maybe she like brushes your hand. Um, but the consent thing, it's tough to maintain the mood of the situation if you're acting kind of uncertain and asking for like permission to do things instead of just going for what you want unapologetically, but also having that restraint and you're not totally attached to the result of getting a kiss, or maybe it's like sex. So it's like, well, if she doesn't want to do it, it's like, okay, well, whatever. Maybe I'll do like 2 steps forward, 1 step back, maybe try that a couple times. But then it's like if she's like actually resisting and telling me, hey, no, you just back off. And it's probably something you messed up on at an earlier date. Just be aware of that throughout the whole process. Or she doesn't fully trust you, and you being masculine, you being able to kind of lead the relationship. Um, and again, that usually it just comes from how you're behaving prior to the moment of sex. So just be aware of that. Number 7, probably the most underrated skill in life, is to be self-aware, to understand how you're thinking and feeling and why you think and feel that way. Yeah, sometimes it is easier to observe things in other people just because like we don't really have like this mirror on what we're doing. Sometimes we get caught up in traps, and just don't recognize our own self-awareness. And so I do think that is a very important skill to have. And sometimes, whether it's like meditation or whatever I did in college, I got certified in transcendental meditation. Um, that can be useful, just kind of like taking some time and kind of this quiet thing to just kind of observe yourself. And it has its uses for sure. Uh, Being yourself for 5 to 10 minutes and just thinking with no distractions is a good place to start. That's kind of like a similar situation with the TM. Being in a relationship is also knowing what you want from that relationship and life and seeing if that is compatible with that person. And if it isn't, that's okay too. Yeah, okay, well, I agree with that, just not being attached to the result. Don't try to force something that isn't going to work because of fundamental differences. Yeah, I'd say, well, I mean, this guy's advice, yeah, I like that he's saying, well, don't really be attached to result, but it just doesn't seem like this guy has had much success with women, and or maybe he's had like one long-term relationship and they've been together for forever, and now he's thinking that, oh, I'm so good because I've been in a relationship for a long time. But in the reality, it's like he doesn't necessarily recognize that. He's talking about being self-aware, but he probably doesn't recognize that his own situation, how much better it could be, because he doesn't have other references other than his own. So he's kind of just trying to learn from himself instead of learning from other people's experience. So, I mean, as you saw, it's like most of the things he said, I don't necessarily agree with, because they really violate a lot of the principles on the human nature behind how attraction works. I cover all that stuff in these products right here. You can get the fundamentals for free in the description, and on that same link, you can get the paid products. So with that, I'll see you on the next video.